This one proves that because you were saying that this Quran you have today is from Muhammad's times, ruled to Muhammad. Show me proof that this Quran you have today was ruled to Muhammad. This is qira'ats, right? They should all be the same.
Variation of qira'ats.
But meanings, does it change the meaning? I can show you one right now. Because I said to you, show me a contradiction where the message of Christianity has changed. The crucifixion, the resurrection, Jesus Christ being the Son of God. Show me these contradictions and I can give my shahada to you.
I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. There's just way too many contradictions for me. And I'm not coming
like what contradictions?
I'm not coming from a Muslim perspective. There's way too many.
But can you show me a contradiction?
There's way too many contradicting statements and verses from the Bible.
Like what?
There's
like
just
what?
too many denominations for me personally.
But what were the Muslims? Do you know denominations like Shia, Sunni, Salafi?
No, I can literally. Well, I'm a Sunni.
But what school of thought? What school of thought is right? The Ash'aris, the Hanafis, the Maliki.
Let me just quickly finish my statement. If I could just make a very quick Google search, and you will see very varying different statements contradicting each other.
I can do that with the Quran as well.
No, what's that? Prove it to me.
Yeah, but just
no,
okay.
You said in the Quran. I can easily prove it to you.
Yeah. But if you Google search something, doesn't mean it's true, does it? I can Google search contradiction in the Quran, doesn't mean it's true.
That's literally evidence.
Okay, give me a contradiction about the Bible then.
No.
Give me a contradiction.
You said there's contradictions in the Quran.
Yeah.
Now you.
In fact, I'll write them down. In fact, I'll write them down. Yeah. I've Googled. I can Google. I've wrote down the yeah.
I can type it. And by the way, I'm not coming from a Muslim perspective. I'm a Muslim myself.
So
I'm not attacking Christianity.
First of all, okay. Your claim first was that if you Google things, you can find contradictions about Christianity. If I Google things about the Quran, I can find contradictions as well. Doesn't mean it's true. Google. Why are you trusting Google?
I'm more than happy to discuss Islam. As long as you're able to actually, from a non-biased perspective, discuss Christianity.
Okay.
I know you obviously got.
But can I say something?
You got a motive.
Can you please give me a contradiction? Give me a contradiction from the Bible.
You have to know. You made a statement.
I will.
There's contradictions in the Quran.
Yeah.
You have to now prove it.
Okay, I will. Okay, so first of all, right, let me make my point because I'll let you speak. You first of all said there's contradictions in the Bible. If we Google it, we can find it. And I said to you, likewise, just because Google said it doesn't mean it's true. You have to look into it. And I said to you, if I Google contradictions, let me explain, brother. If I Google contradictions in the Quran, they will come up. Doesn't mean it's true. People can write all sorts of things in Google. Doesn't mean it's true.
Not really.
You know what I mean? But I can give you contradiction. I can give you contradiction in the Quran. So your Quran is telling the basically.
You said verses, by the way.
Yeah. So yeah. So yeah.
to...
So the Quran, that's what I'm saying. So the Quran is telling the Jews and Christians, right, to follow the Torah and the Injil, right?
Before you ask the question.
So yeah, it's telling Allah. It's telling them.
Contextual reference.
Yeah, let me say. So it's Surah 547 or Surah 2, like Surah Baqarah, Surah 3 verse 3. So it's telling the Jews and Christians to stand by the Torah and the Injil, right? Then again,
is that word for word?
I'm paraphrasing it. I'm paraphrasing. Oh, let me get the verse up then. Let me get the. Okay.
Word by word.
So the Quran claims that the word.
I don't want any paraphrasing. I want word for word because I can paraphrase as much as I want. I want clear, solid evidence. There's contradiction, and if you can't provide that, then I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, for example, in Surah 3, right? In Surah 3, verse 3, Allah says, "It is He who has sent down the book to you with truth, confirming which came before it, and He sent down the Torah and the Injil."
Right.
This is in Surah 3 verse 3. So Allah saying that He sent the Injil and Torah, right? And then in Surah 5 verse 47, it says, "Let the people of the gospel, let the people of the gospel judge by what Allah has revealed therein." So Allah is confirming the Torah and the Injil. The Torah shows that God. So let me make point. Let me make point. Then you can speak. Allah is confirming in the Torah. The Torah says that God is a Trinity. That God is more than one person.
No,
but okay, I'll get to you. But Allah Himself says in Surah Ikhlas that He is one. That He's just one person. He's just one. That's a contradiction.
That doesn't confirm the Trinity. You said there's contradiction.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned Surah. What was this?
So in Surah, let me make one point again.
You said He is one. How does that confirm?
Okay. The contradiction is, if Allah is really one, why is He confirming a book where it shows that God is a Trinity, that God is more than one person.
Where did it say God is a Trinity?
It says God is more than one person. In the Torah,
Previous version,
yeah, in the
Torah never mentioned God as a tree.
Can I show you?
Can I show you? There's been many changes to translation.
Can I show you?
If I watch you do it, step around it.
There was a tree.
Yeah, you do. But no, I don't have
Here.
You haven't felt what it's like to get your
This is
freedom
the
taken
Torah.
away from you and not to your family.
It says in Genesis 19:24, when the Lord rained on Sodom and Gomorrah sulfur and fire from the Lord out of heaven. It shows there's two lords.
Second-hand experience, you can
That's in
understand
the Old
it,
Testament.
but you can't understand it from a place of.
Then the Lord rained on Sodom and Gomorrah sulfur and fire from the Lord out of heaven. There's one Lord in heaven, one Lord on
Just like
earth.
you need to experience the grace of God in your heart to understand
Within the
it. You
Quran.
do.
You're trying to.
Is that not a contradiction?
Anyway, brother, I love
Do
you.
a secondary reference point outside
Still,
the Quran.
it shows the Quran. It shows the Quran's contradictory.
You find contradictions within the Quran.
Yeah, that's
You're
the-
trying to find secondary
You
sources.
didn't hear what I said. I said if I Google things, I can find things. Doesn't mean it's true.
You're misconstruing things
But
on purpose.
no, you don't like the answer because I showed
You
you.
said you find contradictions within the Quran.
In Google.
Outside of the Quran.
No, because you said about Google. I said if I go on Google, I can find contradiction. Doesn't mean it's true. That's what I said.
Your previous point, I respected it. I was like, you know what? From your point of view, just from the reference point you used, absolutely, you're correct. But you, just this point.
This is a contradiction.
No. You said
This is a contradiction.
You said you find a contradiction.
Yeah, and it is a contradiction.
Within the Quran.
Yeah.
You went. Sorry, yeah. You went outside of the Quran.
But don't we need to look at? Don't we need to find?
You have to substantiate your evidence.
Don't we need to find out about Allah outside of the Quran as well?
There's a contradiction.
How many versions of the Quran are there?
There's many of them.
Many.
So this is the thing. I said it based on Google. Based on Google.
You're misconstruing the point. You said you'd find a contradiction within the Quran.
Brother,
Let me speak.
come talk to him. You need to speak to him.
Two contradictions.
But can you? Okay.
Just find me two
Explain this. Explain this.
Just find me two contradictions tables within the Quran.
In the Quran.
Yeah, within the Quran, the contradict
Okay.
each other.
Okay.
I can find you many.
Yeah.
I can literally
So-
do a Google search right now.
This is the contradiction. Okay. I'll explain to you. Okay. In the Quran.
And that's your point. But
Okay.
I didn't make that.
I'll give you another contradiction. I'll give you another contradiction. In Surah 2, I believe Surah 292, it talks about the people corrupting the Torah and the Injil. But then again, in Surah 547, Surah 3 verse 3, Allah is confirming the Injil and Torah. That's a contradiction. Why is God confirming a corrupted book?
That's not a contradiction.
Is that not a contradiction?
That's not a contradiction.
On one hand, God is saying it's corrupted. On one hand, He's confirming it.
Why myself and about
Why
that
is
hour?
the Quran? Why do you think there's a last?
Wait, can you speak louder? Can you speak louder?
Why is there a Quran? For there to be a Quran, the previous scriptures must have been, changed.
So where are they? Where are the previous scriptures? Where are they?
That's the main purpose of the Quran.
but where are
is
they?
To solve everything, and it's inimitable. Right?
Where are they? No, where's the
You
previous
can't
scriptures?
change it, unalterable and inimitable.
Okay.
It hasn't been
Are you sure about
changed.
that?
It hasn't been. Yeah,
Can you give me evidence, any manuscripts dating, full manuscripts from Muhammad's time?
1 second. You're going away from the topic.
Give me manuscripts from Muhammad's time, because you made a liar.
1 second.
You made a liar. You said the Quran isn't changed, but the Quran has been changed. You don't have Muhammad's Quran. You have Uthman's
You're
Quran.
doing the red herring right now.
How-
You still haven't proved the point.
I proved the point. I proved the point. You're running away. You're running away.
You're the one that's doing the red herring.
I'm giving you the argument. I'm giving you the point. I'm giving the explanation.
No, I'm being as honest as I can, right? You said you'd find two contradictions.
I'm giving you two contradictions. In one hand, the Quran is confirming the Injil. On one hand, it's saying it's corrupted. Is that not a contradiction?
No.
How is that? Okay.
I'll explain why.
If I say
I'll explain.
if I say the Bible is contradictory and it's not contradictory, is that not a contradiction?
I'll simply explain to you. The main reason for the Quran being coming down as the last scripture is to confirm the previous things in the Torah and the Injil. As you correctly said, but there were things that were altered within the current Injil, the current Old Testament, and the Torah. That's why there needed to be a Quran to obviously solidify things and get rid of altered verses and any misconstruement. That's the main reason.
So why is Allah confirming a corrupted book?
One second.
Why is He confirming a corrupted book?
Just be honest.
No, you're not answering. You have not answered my questions. I've let you speak for like 5 minutes.
No, I'm answering.
I'll let you speak for. I'm giving you 1 minute. You time it. Let's time it. Yeah? I'm gonna put a timer.
It's not a debate. It's a discussion.
You don't let me speak. Every time I make a point, you will shout. Okay, you speak now. Okay.
You mentioned a statement that.
Muhammad never spoke originally. You've got a revelation.
But you mentioned that there's contradicting statements in the Quran, and you provided evidence evidence that you have to follow, in the Quran, as I'm paraphrasing, you have to go by the previous Torah and the previous Injil. And then you made another statement saying that obviously you can't go through the Torah and Injil. The main reason as to why the Quran was revealed was to get rid of any misconstruements and solidify God's teaching, which is worship Him and Him alone, right? Pure monotheism, something that Christianity absolutely lacks. So that's the
Okay. So my main point I was making about the contradictory argument, right, is that on one hand of the Quran is saying on one hand the Quran is saying that Injil and Torah has been corrupted, right? People have tried to write things or distorted things with their mouths. And on another hand of the Quran is confirming the Injil and the Torah, the previous books. And I find this contradictory. Why? Because
unaltered version.
yeah, I find this. Okay, let me explain. I find this contradictory because it says that they have these books with them in their hands. We know that people in the 6th century have the manuscripts which we have today. So Allah is confirming, not the unaltered version, He's confirming the books what we have today. Let me make the point, Allah. He's confirming the books what we have today. So the question implies, why is Allah confirming a corrupted book? Right? Why is He confirming the Injil and Torah is corrupted? And if you say the Injil and Torah has contradictories in, why is Allah confirming the corrupted book? Now, the last point I want to make to you, you said about Allah's, they had errors in His previous book, they were corrupted. Nowhere in history do we find any errors within the message of Christianity. The message of Christianity. Let me speak. The message of Christianity is this: that Jesus Christ was crucified, He was resurrected, He was God, He was the Son of God, and He rose from the dead. Nowhere in history, from the 1st century to the 6th century, do we find any contradictions within His message. So Allah is confirming His message, which is contradictory, because Allah says that Jesus Christ was never crucified or resurrected. And you also said that the Quran you have today is based on Muhammad's time. Give me proof that the Quran you have today is based on Muhammad's codex, not Uthman's codex. So show me. Okay, let me make it easy. Show me the Quran you have today is exactly the Quran we have, based on the Muhammad's codexes, not on the Uthmani codexes, but based on the Muhammad codex.
What do you want me to show you? The oldest Quran that we currently have? What kind of proof are you looking for?
Yeah, you can just
What kind of proof are you looking
just give me.
for? Are you looking for
You can. Oh, you don't have the manuscripts now. You
can the oldest manuscripts of the Quran that we currently have now?
give me any tradition, any tradition, manuscripts.
I don't have the oldest scripture.
Yeah, but you can. Do you know what the manuscripts are? You can tell me what these manuscripts are. I might know them.
I don't know. I'm only aware of one manuscript.
Which one's that? Which one? There's the Sana manuscript, the Samarkand manuscript, there's Birmingham manuscript, there's Qazi manuscript, there's the.
What's the difference?
Yeah, so the difference between all of them. So first we have, obviously they're put on in different years. So one came out. So first we had the Birmingham manuscripts, and that's less complete.
And they're all different. And your point is they're all different from each other.
Yeah.
They're all different from each other.
I can tell you why. So they're all different. I mean,
pages missing.
yeah. So
that's a fallacy.
when I mean that, how's that a fallacy? So when I'm.
I can do a Google search right now to prove that's wrong.
But you go on Google. Google's not reliable. Google's not reliable.
See, your friend's saying Google's not reliable.
It's not. We know that.
Yeah. So how are you gonna lie to me?
I can tell you how they differ. I can tell you how they differ.
You don't watch the BBC because it's not reliable.
In the Birmingham.
Where are you getting your sources from?
Yeah, scholars. We were authorities in these manuscripts who have looked into these manuscripts.
I'm sorry, you're telling me one thing and you're telling me another thing.
Do you know Dr. Shadi Nasir? Dr. Shadi Nasir? Let me speak.
To Google.
You know Yasser Qadi? He's actually got a really good book based on the manuscripts of the Quran. And even he's talked about the different qira'ats you have, the arus you have, the manuscripts, you have early manuscripts. Some manuscripts have pages that are not complete. Right, like the Birmingham manuscript only has 3 surahs in.
I'm not aware of that.
But the later manuscript, like the Qazi, the standard manuscript, they have more surahs in.
I'm not aware.
So they all differ. You can do gift search.
Okay, sure.
But also there's text.
Missing pages within certain manuscripts.
No. That's what listen. There's straw man. You're straw manning me. I said there's incomplete surahs. Because I think so some manuscripts have not got everything inside. Whereas you have other manuscripts, like the Sana manuscript or the Qazi manuscript, they have all the surahs in, many of the surahs in. But even scholars within Islam, like Al-Baqillani, he was a modern day Islamic scholar. Ibn Dawood in the start.
Incomplete surahs in the Quran.
Did you hear what he said?
No. Every surah is complete as revealed to Prophet Muhammad and has been preserved in its entirety.
No, manuscripts. I'm talking about manuscripts. I'm not the manuscripts. So the Birmingham manuscript only has 3 surahs in. And you're using ChatGPT, man. ChatGPT is
Use Google.
Okay, type in how many surahs the Birmingham
ChatGPT
manuscript
is much faster.
Yeah, type in how many surahs the Birmingham manuscript have.
What's that?
The Birmingham manuscript only has 3 surahs in, or 2 to 3 surahs in. No, it's not complete.
the crumbs that fall from
That's the earliest manuscript you have.
When Jesus said to a woman, "You have great faith, and your request is granted," and the daughter was healed.
nodding your head.
So he healed her.
Right, okay, yeah. So, early Quranic manuscripts sometimes show variation in spelling.
No, I'm talking about Birmingham manuscript.
Yeah, I put Birmingham manuscript.
Yeah. And so you say how many surahs are mentioned in the Birmingham
But
manuscript.
what's your point? What
Yeah, so my
what's your
point, that's what I'm saying. You say how did they differ? I said the manuscript. I'm not saying the Quran. I'm saying the manuscripts of the Muhammad's Codex or the Uthmani Codex.
What do you define as? Sorry, there's differences in definitions.
Okay, so when
For a manuscript, what do you define as a manuscript?
yeah, a manuscript is a codex. The codex, or they're written in scrolls, leaves, animal skins. And I'm saying to you that how they differ is that in the Birmingham manuscript, you only have 3 surahs in. The Sana manuscript or the Tafkazi manuscript, you have a vast majority of surahs in.
But
So,
we have, hold on. I understand where you're coming from. Like,
yeah.
But those are minor. What was it? That's not for the most part. For the most part, you're going off of a few manuscripts. For the most part, most manuscripts have the same verses, no incomplete surahs. So what's
Okay.
your point?
Yeah, my point was.
It's like
okay.
90. It's
That-
like you're
my
only,
point. My
you're
point.
only pointing
Yeah.
out
No, my point was.
5%.
My point that I made to you
5% or 2%.
was show me the Quran you have today is from Muhammad's time. That's what I wanted to know. From Muhammad's time, from the 6th century.
What's that? Are you talking physically, or are you talking about what?
Like any manuscript traditions, oral traditions. Show me.
Why do you have to go to a manuscript? Why
I just want proof that because you were saying that this Quran you have today is from Muhammad's times, ruled to Muhammad. Show me proof that this Quran you have today was ruled to Muhammad.
we go from oral tradition, right?
Okay,
With the Bible, none of you guys memorize the Bible.
let me get the. I can show you. Look, this is
You don't memorize the Bible.
Why you put the
this is Qur'an, right? They should all be the same.
Variation of Qur'an.
But meanings, does it change the meaning?
It doesn't
I can show you.
alter the
I can show you one right now. Let me show you one right now.
If it does, very slightly.
See, now you're changing your point.
No.
You wanna hold it?
No, not really. We're not going. No. It's not the same as the Bible because
Look.
the Bible is going from Greek.
But
It's going from Greek. Sorry.
Let me tell him something very
No.
important about the Quran.
No.
Listen,
What does it say? وَكَئِيٍّ مِّن نَبِيٍّ قَاتَلَ And many prophets fought. And here it says, وَكَئِيٍّ مِّن نَبِيٍّ قُوتِلَ And many prophets was killed. Here it says more prophets was killed. Here it says many prophets fought. There is a textual variance or textual difference in this Quran.
Very slightly. It's not.
Wait, dude, it's not exactly word for word the same thing.
It's not significant enough like the Bible. There's many. You can't compare the level
Please,
of
come.
changes and transliteration.
Has the message of Christianity changed?
Transliterational
Has the,
differences between the Quran and the Bible.
has the message of Christianity? Has the message?
Do you understand that?
But with the New Testament alone, we have around 7,000 verses, and we have 4,999 textual-free variants. So we have.
It's not in its original source. The original source was in Aramaic,
Where? No.
and then it went to Aramaic to Greek.
But
And then there was a time when it was illegal for the Greek transliteration to be changed at all, and then it changed to Latin.
Wait, how do you know? Wait,
It's just a translation. I don't see the problem.
but this is why.
The transliteration changes things a lot.
No, but this is why I said to you. Show me where the message of the crucifixion and resurrection has been changed.
Even with them, how can you rely on secondary evidence like Paul, Matthew, John? Those are
Okay,
people that came
can I make a point
after
to you?
Jesus.
Can I make my point? Yeah.
Matthew and
Let me make my point.
Matthew and John were with Jesus.
Both
With Jesus.
they were both Matthew and
Matthew and John were disciples of Jesus. Luke was a follower of Paul, but he took his account.
Paul wasn't. Paul.
You're making an internal critique, so you're still gonna have to grant it regardless. So
I can say the same for Muhammad. Muhammad never saw the disciples of Jesus. His companions never saw the disciples of Jesus.
That's different.
Paul saw the disciples of Jesus Christ.
If you're to make a
the same thing.
similar argument, you'd have said the Sahaba and the Prophet. You can't.
But have they seen? Did they see Jesus Christ?
That's a fallacy of false equivalence.
Did they see?
Because
Did they see?
you're
How's that?
basically saying
Were they with Jesus Christ? Answer the question.
One second. You're trying to say was Muhammad with Jesus Christ? No.
Exactly.
For you to-
Why are you relying on his words? Why are you relying on his words?
For you to make a correct a comparison, it would be the Prophet Muhammad and his companions. It's not the Prophet.
No, because you were attacking Paul. You were attacking Paul's like
Yeah,
reliability.
yeah.
Paul saw the disciples
Paul-
of Christ. He witnessed everything.
Was
That
Paul-
say
was-
Paul witnessed everything. The disciples of Jesus Christ, who were with Jesus Christ
He
himself.
didn't witness Jesus Christ himself.
Yes, he did in the book of
You can't
Acts.
ask someone from the outside.
Paul saw an encounter with Jesus
in
Christ.
right in front of
No,
you.
Paul had an encounter with Jesus Christ on the road to Damascus. Muhammad said he saw Jesus on the night journey in Hijrah.
According to you, listen.
According to Paul. According to Paul himself.
We can argue all day. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I'm not too versed within the Bible to also have that debate. I don't know too many reference points in the Bible. All I do know, there's just way too many contradictions.
Can you show me a contradiction? I showed you. Show me a contradiction. But you're not showing me. Because I said to you, show me a contradiction where the message of Christianity has changed. The crucifixion, the resurrection, Jesus Christ being the Son of God. Show me where Jesus Christ, the contradiction about Jesus Christ being God. Show me these contradictions and I can give my shahada to you.
We both know you're not going to give it. And the
Because you can't give it.
The cameras are on the side. To be fair, I would rather much have this discussion.
Okay, we'll go on the side. We'll go on the side.
On the sides. I'm going to watch regardless, but you can't just like go on the sides. I would much rather have this
I said we'll go on the side.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
sure, yeah.